that thing, yo. Annabella shake that thing, Miss. Na yo, Miss Judy and the one named Rebecca, yo. Shake that thing, yo. Joanna shake that thing, yo. Annabella shake that thing, Miss.
Ladies and gentlemen, summer is here. We gonna have a party tonight. The Technoid Show is back in the house with some 2000 throwback. Sean Paul in this house. We got a fun show planned for you, but let's not waste any time because the Technoid Show starts right now. I can't stop bopping into it, ladies and gentlemen. 2000s kicked back. We got the fedora on. We got our Armani. We got our glasses. Summer is here, baby. Baby, summer is here. All right, we better cut it. We got to cut it out. We got a show to put on. And by the way, guys, I'm just going to go out there on record and say that every time I do one of these intros, I lose my monetization, but I do not care because these shows are all about fun and entertainment, and that's all that matters to me. So I don't care about making money on this video. I don't care about making money on my live episodes. All I care about is having a good time. What is going on, you beautiful people? Michael here. Welcome back to another live episode of Technoid. It has been a while, ladies and germs. We are going to get back into the habit of live streaming. I promise you, this summer we're going to do a lot. I am planning on doing a week, yes, a week's worth of live streams non-stop every night at 9 p.m. I will announce the official date of the 7 days of the Technoid live episode. We will get into that later on, but before we start the show, you know the man, the myth, the hour, the co-host, the staple of the Technoid live episodes, the man, the one and only SMT, Sanid Mobile Tech is in the background, baby.
What up, Mike?
Let's get it. Let's do it. Now, we're going to cut through our partners real quickly. We're going to get to the first one. So this first part of the Technoid Show is brought to you by Rogue Energy. Rogue Energy is the healthy alternative energy drink for your money. They just dropped another new flavor on top of the strawberry watermelon that I cooped. It is delicious. They've dropped raspberry pineapple. Mwah. All in time for the summer, ladies and germs. Head on over to Rogue. Use the promo code Technoid for 10% off. We'll get to our other partners as we make our way through the show. And as always, follow me on Twitter at Technoid12 to stay up to date with the latest of the live episodes and more to come. All right, now we got that out of the way. Let's begin this show. So, Sneed, first of all, it has been a while. I hope you are doing well.
Yeah, man,
I hope
thank
you
man.
are.
Yeah, not bad. You?
Well, a little bit here and there, hit or miss,
Yeah.
doing my thing. But I'm enjoying life.
Glad to see you live, though, man. It's been a while.
Oh, it is. And the vibe is always different on every live episode of Technoid.
Yes, sir.
And I do wish that I could do them more often than I am because I spend so much time making full episodes that I just kind of want to do back to back. But YouTube's algorithm is just going to mess up your release. So mark my words, when we get to the live episodes for a week straight, you have my word. We are going to make it. And we're going to make it special.
That sounds crazy, man. That's going to be a wild week, dude.
7 days, non-stop live. And I did this a little while back. I tried to get on some co-hosts. So I am going to try my best to get as many other special guests as we can. I'm going to try to see if I can not swindle. We're going to try to see if we can convince Front Page
right.
Tech. We're going to try to see if we can get Show and Tech, Digital Slang, maybe some other guys. Who knows? Definitely want to get Sherry back on, but I'll talk to them in private. If you're hearing about it first, hit me up on Twitter. But anyway, let's get down to business. So tonight's show, shout out to Blaze for being in the chat tonight. Thank you, Blaze, for popping in. So tonight's episode, we're going to focus a little on Apple. We're going to focus on some rumors that have been making their way around the mill. We're going to talk about the iPhone 15 and why I think the iPhone 15 Plus is going to, in my opinion, sell better than the iPhone 15 Pro Max. Now, I am not an accurate source, so don't take what I have to say as facts, but we are human. We can debate. We can also talk anything. So, without further ado, let's begin. So, I've been covering the iPhone 15's changes and the iPhone's new design and all that good stuff. Well, over the last few weeks, we've been hearing reports of the iPhone 15 and 15 Plus and their spec sheets that have been leaked out. And according to several reports, it seems that the 15 Plus is going to be a significant change in terms of battery design as well as the standard iPhone 15. We are going to pull it up for you guys real quickly just so you guys can see. If we can't get it, I can always go over to the last one. But essentially, from what we're hearing from the grapevine, the iPhone 15 and 15 Plus are indeed going to switch over. They are going to do something different. And the biggest thing that they're going to do different is the design. Now, Sneed, I think that me and you can agree that these last few iPhones, the standard iPhones anyway, the standard ones are just you know? Just You know what I mean?
I do. I mean, I that's how I feel about the iPhone basically year to year. You know, like the incremental upgrades you get are not really substantial. And most people say that. They're like, oh, it's not really worth it to upgrade. And it's just meh, you know?
Mm-hmm. Well, the last few iPhones have not been too kind to Apple since the iPhone 12. 12 mini, 13 mini, and then 14.
Are you talking volume of sales?
We're talking volumes of sales because
okay.
It hasn't been too kind to Apple. And the iPhone 14 and 14 Plus were supposed to be that bring back to the form, you know, that return to form of the good old days of the standard iPhones being the sales. Well, that didn't happen. So, unfortunately for Apple, they got a taste in humble pie. But their Pro and Pro Max are selling like crazy, so they're doing good there. Just trying to pull up here the images, but I think I'm having a little bit of technical
and those are the more expensive iPhones. That's ironic, right?
Well, according to the rumors, and I'll go over with them because this is giving me so much trouble, the iPhone 15 Plus is reportedly going to be the one that Apple goes all in on. It seems that Apple really wants to kind of build out, I would say, this sales unit, the volume, because according to some reports, it seems that the 15 and 15 Plus are going to be borrowing a lot of elements from the iPhone 14. And basically, essentially, it seems that we are going to see the iPhone 15 Plus be the iPhone 14 Pro and Pro Max in terms of design. Now, before you guys start going rat-a-tat-tatting in the comment section, let me explain it. Let me try to clear this up. I got it here. We're going to pull it up right now. Not my best way of... EM Tech says, wasn't the iPhone 12? No, we're talking the standard, the 12 and 12 mini. 12 Pro and Pro Max were the best sellings in the recent history, so yeah. But anyway, moving on. Let's pull this up here, because God forbid anything would work. Here we go. So, as you could see in this little schematics, this is again a little bit of a cropped image, but if you could make it out real quickly, you could see that the 15 Pro and Pro Max are going to be the best looking iPhones. The bezels are almost little to non-existent. They're pretty much going to be the best iPhone, I would say, in terms of design, because it's almost border, because you barely see anything. But if you look at the 15 and 15 Plus, it's the iPhone 14 Pro and Pro Max. Now, if you look at the battery percentages, you could see that the 15 Plus and the 15 also have bigger batteries, and they're actually more and closer to 5,000 milliamps than the Pro Max and the Pro. And we're also hearing reports that Apple is once again gearing up for mass production of the 15 Plus, specifically the 15 Plus. So I'm going to make a little bit of a hot topic here, or a hot take as you would call it, and I'm going to give a prediction. I think that the iPhone 15 Plus is going to sell well. Better than any of the previous iPhones. I think it's going to be either the second or close to being the number one selling iPhone for 3 reasons. And you're allowed to dispute them, Sneed. Number 1, the price. We are hearing that the iPhone 15 Pro and Pro Max lineup is going to get an increase that is more than the 14 Pro and Pro Max. That's one. So it's going to be more than what the 14 Pro and Pro Max did this year. Number 2, there are reports that the 15 Plus will adopt the whole dynamic island. So we're going to get full support integration. And number 3, the 15 Plus and the 15 are essentially a brand new form factor. Because the last few iPhones, you were telling yourself, why am I going to switch over? What's going to be different? Well, there you go. So that's my reasons. Again, very casual take. I'll go into the techie details after, but I want to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, man, I don't know, man. That's to be the best seller. The Pro models have been the best seller up to this point because people have felt like they've been so much better than the regular models. Mm-hmm. So what if the Pro models next year are again just so much better? Because here's the thing, man. Most people are financing their phones. Mm-hmm. So they're not going to care, if the phone is $42 a month or $38 a month. Right? So that's really where I think the difference is going to be, is like, if the price per month on installments or payments isn't that much different, they'll get the better phone. Especially if carriers give them trade-in deals, right? Because then they're going to want the Pro, because the Pro has a better camera system. So it's probably going to have a better camera system. And I'll tell you this also, the processor matters, right? The SoC experience, because this year the Pro models had the better processor, right? So what do they do next year? Are we going to see a repeat of this year? Or is it going to be streamlined, all the same processor, just bigger batteries or whatever? Then I think you got an argument to be made.
I think they're going to repeat what happened, because I think that's a way of them saving costs, keeping the cost down for the standard models.
For the right.
For the 15 Plus. Uh-huh. And I think the Pro and Pro Max. But to follow up on what you said, the reason why I was saying also is because even with the trade-ins, just regular trade-ins, the 15 Plus seems to be the one that Apple wants to go all in on. They want to make this one the best seller. And from what I was able to gather based on these rumors and reports, it seems that Apple wants the 15 Plus to be the more mass consumer iPhone. So they're actually putting in higher quality cameras this year. They are going to reserve one specific camera for the Pro and the Pro Max. I think it's the periscope lens that everybody's been wanting. So they're going to reserve that for the Pro and Pro Max. But if you look at the landscape, though, Sneed, because a lot of the serious people, because this 15 and 15 Plus are not going to be for me and you and others. We're going to go for the Pro and Pro Max all day, every day.
Yeah.
But you got to remember, there's a whole other generation that are just holding on. Like, I've actually seen teenagers hold on to their iPhones because now they know it's the same iPhone. Like, I thought teenagers were stupid. I mean, listen, let's call a spade here. Gen Z is not the brightest in the bulb. But if they're able to catch on that their iPhone this year is the same as the one last year, then they don't need to get the newest one every year. Now, you could argue they're probably going to want to go up to the Pro and Pro Max, but mommy and daddy ain't going to pay your bill for too long, little boy, little girl. Mm-hmm. So, but on the flip side, if you give them something that is different in feel, in feature, in look, a lot of people are going to levitate to something that is new. And I think that's what I think Apple's banking on, is that it's going to bring something new to the table in terms of the design, in terms of the features, in terms of the experience. And I also think, in my opinion, in regard to the 15 Plus, the reason why they want to go a little more is because they've seen how well everybody loved Dynamic Island on the 14 Pro Max. And we're also hearing reports that they are going to reportedly ditch the 60 hertz screen. They may give it 90.
What are they moving up to? 90? Yeah.
Well, this is a hot card because we don't know how exact this report is or not, but according to several manufacturers in-house, they're saying that the 15 and 15 Plus might be rocking 90 hertz. They're going to reserve 120 hertz for the iPhone 15 Pro and Pro Max. But also, don't forget, Sneed, USB-C is coming.
Right.
For all models.
Facts.
So that's another reason to get.
But that's going to be across all models. That's not going to be
But that's going to be across. Yeah.
Yeah.
But either way, there's so much more new things to get.
Sure.
I would say for me, if you're a general person, if you don't care about the pro stuff, if you're like a guy who could just pick up your phone, watch movies, listen to music, you're not doing all that in editing and fancy filming, then the standard models are going to be your go-to, especially with the whole dynamic island implementation. I think Apple has finally reached an area where they actually have a very good looking phone in terms of design. So I think it's going to levitate a lot of people. And I feel that Apple's pushing the Plus, and that might be the carrier promotion one that's more heavier. Because why else would they mass produce on a bigger scale?
Sure.
But real quickly, because then I'll let you get another word in regards to the battery tech, last year we knew that the 15 Plus was going to have a bigger battery than the Pro Max, but to see that it's almost close to the 5,000 milliamp hour wattage, like, that is crazy that the Pro Max
that's going to be some legendary battery life, man.
Like, it's making me even tempted to go down to the 15 Plus because I hate the battery in the Pro Max. As a matter of fact, also shout out the Spawn poster. I'm a huge Spawn fan.
Oh, Spawn's
Here is my battery percentage, and it's not even a year. I don't know if you guys can see that.
Yeah, what does it say?
88%.
In 1 year?
In less than a year.
Wow.
The battery management has been terrible with the 14
You got
Pro
me wanting to
Max.
check mine. Let me see what I got going on.
I trust me, I don't charge it as crazy as everybody thinks. So don't look at me as a
Do
stranger.
you charge it once a day?
At night, every time I go to bed.
Yeah, so once a okay. All right. Let me see. General, what is it? Health? Battery health?
Battery health.
Okay, I gotta go to battery. Dude, I'm worried now. Because
Don't be worried.
You know when you go to sell these things, people want to know what the battery health percentage is.
Mm-hmm.
Where is it, man? Oh, there it is. Battery. Okay. Let's see here. Mine says it's at maximum capacity, 100%.
How the hell do you people do it? I don't understand it.
You know what I think it is? I think they're wrong. I think the software is not accurate.
Maybe the software is not accurate.
Yeah, I don't think I'm at 100%.
Right.
I mean, this thing's gotten hot a bunch of times. I've charged
It's
it several,
possible.
100 times or whatever. But
I listen. I do the same thing I've been doing every night. I put it on MagSafe. It's a slow charge. It says fast, but it's really slow. If I need to charge it fast, I'll plug it in by a wire. But I'm telling you right now, when USB-C comes out for the iPhone, I will not go back to MagSafe for a long time.
yeah, USB-C is phenomenal. Yeah.
I'm rocking USB-C all the way. But
Your laptop is USB-C?
Yes, USB-C. I'm actually going to be going over to a Mac Studio at the end of the summer and going into the winter. I'm going to be switching over to a Mac Studio. We're getting rid of the laptop. That phase of my life is over.
Nice, man. Getting on a real deal desktop, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, either way, we'll talk more about the iPhone 15, 15 Plus as we get closer. I just kind of want to make that the starting story because we got two other stories to get to, and we're already 18 minutes into the show. So
let's roll, man. Let's keep it rolling.
Yeah. Now, real quickly, the next segment of the show is brought to you by Super X. Super X is the best gear to get if you are a workout fanatic like myself. They got a huge 4th of July weekend sale that is extended. You can get yourself a t-shirt for $10 and even get some of their signature line for $20. Head over to Super X, use a promo code in the description. Not on your screen, in the description. I'm going to change that at the end of this show.
Oh, nice.
Story number 2, Apple Vision Pro. Now listen, I know I said I was thinking of getting it. Am I going to get it? Probably not.
Did you look at the price tag?
I'm not even worried about the price tag.
Oh.
I'm just going to get it no matter what. But I got to be honest with you, Sneed. I think it's in a little bit of trouble.
Yeah.
Because my last story I talked about was Apple scaling back the production of the Vision Pro. They scaled it back to 400,000 versus 1 million, what they were at. Now, that could be because of the production delays. But now, apparently, you can't even get it in stores. So, I've never heard of this. Maybe somebody can research this in the comment section. And if you want to tell me what's going on, tell me what's going on. Because when have you ever heard of a rollout of a product that you have to pick up appointment only. In any of Apple's lineup, in any of their lineups, have you ever recalled that they said you got to pick up your product by an appointment only?
Well, the question
Normally
is why? What's the...
Well, that's what we're going to talk about.
What's the
because
thing,
according to Bloomberg, I'm not paying your firewall. I'm just going to use your title here, Mark. Apple is planning on a slow appointment only rollout of the Vision Pro. According to Mr. Gurman, the Vision Pro is going to get rolled out, but apparently you will not have access to a store purchase. You will only be able to get it if you have an appointment. That's it. And I am not in any shape, way, or fashion surprised by that, but I have a strange, peculiar reason as to why. I obviously have a different version of this article. I just pulled it up for the headlines. But according to Mark Gurman, it seems that because of the struggles of the device and because of the reports that some people are now saying that it is uncomfortable, it seems that Apple is now wanting it to be, quote, fitted with customers. Apparently, they now want customers to come in, try it out before they buy it, and then they can take it home. On top of all the delays going on. Now, I'm going to let you start it up. Have we ever heard of anything like this from Apple? And are you surprised by the method and approach that they're doing for this?
So basically what they're doing is they're going to put it on your head and they're going to fit it so that it sits as comfortably as possible on there based on size, right? And then the setting of whatever that like wrap thing is to go around the head. So that there must have been some people, you know, who got like the early access to it, were shipped the devices. They're like, oh, well, you know, when I first put it on, it was a little uncomfortable. And then over time it got worse. Mm-hmm. Well, you've already designed it, right? And you've already started manufacturing. So you can't go back and scrap the design of the actual device. You're gonna have to go in and try to fit the hardware for the way it fits around your head. Something tells me it's uncomfortable, like around the eyes, right? Because like that's probably where people are least comfortable with stuff sitting on their face, right? Because that's going to be hard to get used to. So it's going to have to be extra comfortable and not obstructing, you know, the like on their face. So that's probably what it is, dude. It's probably discomfort and people reporting that it's not ideal.
I agree. I think, you know, it's weird.
Damage control, right? That's probably what it is. Damage control.
Damage control. But also, it's funny that they mentioned that because I recently had an experience at my uncle's house. He has the PSVR headset. That was my first time ever actually using a VR headset. And as fun as it was to play games with it, it was very uncomfortable.
It's exhausting. I've used it before. Yeah, it is.
So Apple going with this design, you would think, because they're trying to go for comfort and quality, and then now apparently you can't even just buy it and walk out. Now you got to go in the Apple store. You got to sit down, use it with them, with the guys. They're probably going to have to teach you how to use this thing. And then even if you get it and you find it uncomfortable, well, what happens to your purchase? Do you just say, oh, I don't want it anymore? You know, it's a weird situation. And I find it very weird because I know this is a very expensive product. And Dave brings up, shout out David. He writes, can you imagine how expensive the accessories are going to be for this? Like the lenses. God help whoever gets one. Imagine if this little area, the padding where your eyes go into, imagine they sell different versions of it. But rather than just say, you know what, we'll swap it out for a more comfortable one that you're comfortable with, because apparently this is customizable, they're going to tell you, you got to drop $500 on a new pair of cushions. No. I'd be like, nah, you are going to give me the cushions that fit my goddamn eyes for the same price that I'm paying for the Vision Pro. If you're not giving me something that's comfortable, that I don't find comfortable, you can keep your $3,500 little glasses and let some other sucker get it. Because I am not paying nothing unless this thing feels good on my face.
I think there's going to be some returns, man.
I think
there's going to be some buyer's remorse. I think there's going to be some people with regret. And then there's going to be some people who are going to shelf it after using it for a couple of weeks, and they're going to be like, man, I don't really like it.
But you see, there's the other thing is because, Apple is marketing this product as a product that you're going to want to use on a daily. They are
No way.
saying no, because that's the way they positioned it. I mean, listen, if people want to say they positioned it another way, then you tell me how you saw it. But when you watch the Apple event, when you watch the whole, when you watch in the show of when they showed this thing, they were putting it in every single day use. They were putting it in everyday use of a person in their couch, in their living room, using this thing. And yeah, they were just
Every
like,
day.
yeah,
Every
every
day.
day. And then you could connect your Mac to it. You could type on an invisible keyboard with your fingers. And it's like, so is it a gaming headset? Is it an everyday headset? Because I'm telling you right now, if people start walking around with this damn thing in public, I swear to you, Sneed, somebody's getting robbed. But not by me. But not by me. I'm going to just pull out my camera and I'm going to record it. And I'm going to say, I told y'all.
World
idiots.
star.
Nah, that's 2015. I'll be like, TikTok, mofo.
Yeah. They're
But nah, man, like they are trying to sell this thing as an everyday product, and yeah, you could buy 5 MetaQuest 3s instead. Honestly, no, serious. But as ridiculous as the price is, as dumb as it may look on paper, I can't deny the technology that's in this thing because Apple did actually put a lot of hardware and time into this thing. So I can't lie, they did. They actually did.
Ain't no denying that they put a lot of R&D and they stuck their neck out to create this product in hopes that it, takes off. But it's going to be a rough start. These are early adopter problems, early launches. This is what happens, man.
Nah, man. And real quickly, this is the first time in a long time that I've actually had to use a chair in these episodes, and I look like a midget in this guy. But, excuse me, no offense to a small person. But anyway, yeah, I mean, we'll have to wait and see. We'll see what happens, and we'll hopefully get some answers when it rolls out. Am I still going to get it? Well, put it to you this way. If the financial payments are cheap, yes. If it's not, you can keep it. That's just the way it is.
Yeah.
Alrighty, last story, the final story of the night, and then we're going to make a last announcement, and then the announcement will be made on Twitter. I'll also post it after we finish. But real quickly, the last and final part of this episode is brought to you by Slate Chocolate Milk. Slate is the most delicious lactose-free chocolate milk you're going to get because it tastes just like the real thing. Head on over to slatemilk.com, find your favorite flavor. They are the official protein milk of the UFC. They got 20 grams of protein, 0 net sugar. It is delicious, and now they are partnered up with the UFC. Head on over to slatemilk.com, use the promo code Technoid now. Last story, Sneed. Let's talk MacBook. So, do you remember a long time ago that Apple said they were never going to make a foldable laptop? That they were never going to make a foldable iPad? Do you remember when they said that you will never get a touch screen Mac?
I remember when they said all those things. I remember when they said you'd never get a large iPhone.
I remember when they said you'll never need to use a stylus.
I remember that too. And then they made a pencil,
Well,
whatever.
just like the circle of time, Apple is doing so.
Never
So,
say never, man.
According to a supply manufacturer from Korea, Apple is reportedly working on a foldable screen laptop. Now, apparently they are in talks with suppliers to launch a foldable MacBook. Now, before you start saying this is just a rumor, that I don't believe this, again, this is before any design, this is before any production, this is product development, this is research and development stages, people. So just hear me out. According to reports, it seems that Apple is again working with supply manufacturers to try to bring a foldable computer to the market. Apple, as you know, have been wanting to get their hands on the foldable industry. While the foldable market is a little bit of a 50-50 proposition, Samsung has proven that there is a market, there is a need, there are people that will buy foldable devices, And Google has now dipped their hats into the ring, and now Apple seems like they want to start that process. However, here is the catch. This would be released in 2027 and beyond. Because what you're looking at is an Asus ZenBook Fold. The Asus ZenBook Fold is reportedly also in the works right now, but it is allegedly due to some competition that they are also pushed back, but also working on this release as well. Now, according to reports, it seems that Apple wants to get this going off the ground. They want to see the possibility. They want to make a foldable device. And if I'm being honest, if there was ever a device that should be foldable, I think a laptop is probably the number one way to go. Because that makes more sense to me. I mean, tell me if I'm telling lies here. When you open and close a folding device, do you want a phone, a tablet, or a computer?
I want the real screen real estate of a laptop, of a computer.
There you go.
I also think a digital keyboard sounds cool, right? So keys don't go bad. Remember the whole butterfly keyboard issue? Remember that? Like, there's all types of design and engineering issues whenever it involves hardware. This puts all the onus on an OLED that can fold. And
for me, I think it's a great idea. I think it's a great opportunity that Apple is going to try to build out a foldable, MacBook. I mean, obviously, I would have wished that they would go into the folding iPhone, but we'll wait till we get there. But how do you see
It's probably
Apple?
easier to design this than a folding phone.
It probably is. Yeah. It probably is. But the timeline of when they want to get this done makes total sense. 2026, 2027, that sounds about reasonable. 3 years to let this thing build out, to get the technology.
You're probably going to need like 3 prototypes, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But what do you call this MacBook? The MacBook Fold, the MacBook Pro? How do you position a laptop like this if you're Apple, if you are trying to make a folding laptop? Do you call it the Pro?
Well, let's look at the naming scheme lately. It's Apple Watch, right? They've gone away from like iMac, right? Because that was it was the iPhone, the iMac, right? So now they're looking at like, how do we market Apple? So it's going to be Apple something. Right, so you're saying, well, they could be boring and say Apple Fold, right? Or would they give it a cool name, to do something different, But I think they're very conservative. I think it's just going to be Apple Fold. And actually, what you could do is you can look up in the patent office to see if that's been, if it's got a placeholder, right? Apple Fold, Apple Flip, Apple whatever, Apple Jacks. I don't know, whatever you could think of. They've probably got a patent or a copyright to it. It's worth checking. Yeah. It's worth checking.
There was a patent filing a long time ago, so we'll have to dig into a little bit of history in there. But last thing I'll say before we wrap up this episode, it's actually kind of short. I wasn't expecting it to be this short, but hey. Last thing I'll say, I think that this could work for Apple if they were to do this, because this makes more sense, especially for a company like this that doesn't want to. But calling it a MacBook Fold, calling it a MacBook Pro, I don't know. Could it work? Possibly.
What do you think about it running dual OS? The MacBook OS, and then could also run like an iPad OS. So you could literally boot it up in either one of those OSs and kind of get that experience. What do you think?
Good idea. That's a good question.
Because I mean, you fold that sucker, it's like a tablet. You know what I mean? It's like an iPad.
Well, you bring up an interesting point. But if they ran dual OS, I think you got a lot of grounds to call it something unique. It's actually a puzzle. I have to think on that one.
Yeah, I love the concept of iPad OS, having that legitimate iPad based OS, but then being able to kind of run that thing like an iPad just gives it more flexibility, gives it some cool features.
Absolutely. Alrighty, so before we wrap it up, I want to make this announcement. Now, this part is going to be reposted on Twitter, so if you're watching this on Twitter, listen up. So this summer, I want to do something big. I used to do things big when it was a pandemic. I used to do things when it was big when I was 21. 22, I kind of slumped a little bit. But now, we're back. This summer, I'm going to find the date, either in July or August. You mark my words, ladies and gentlemen. I am going to be putting on a 1-week live stream special. We are going to go live every day on the Technoid live episodes from Monday to Sunday.
It's crazy.
7 days.
It's wild.
But I want to make this big because I want to do it for a good reason. I want to use these live streams. I want to use it as an opportunity to not only highlight some small YouTubers, but I want to get some big guys on here. Guys that I've collaborated with in the past. But I also want to use this week to raise some money. I did this during the pandemic with the Dustin Poirier Foundation.
Yep, I remember that.
I did it last time, and I'm going to do it again.
Nice.
So, I'm going to call your name, and I'm going to tag you if you want to make this happen. If you want to make this a reality, 7 days, the Technoid live episode, the 7 days of Technoid, the special summer edition. Here we go. Obviously, Sneed is my co-host. You're going to make sure you book this.
We'll be in there.
But here we go. First name, Front Page Tech, John Prosser.
Jern.
I want a piece of that. Show and Tech. I want a piece of that. Bearded Tesla. I want a piece of that. I also want Dennis co-hosting. He doesn't count, but Dennis back co-hosting.
Dental.
So 2 co-hosts. Sherry, I want you back on. I also want to go a little deeper. Mike O'Brien, I want a piece of that. Most importantly, this is a stretch, but could we make this happen? Aaron Zolotech, I want a piece of that. I would love to have all of you that I just named to come on to this show for the 7 days of Technoid. Let's do it. Let's come together. One YouTuber after another each and single day. You don't got to come back for more than one episode unless you want to help raise some money for the charity. One big YouTuber per day. And a small YouTuber we highlight at the end of every show that deserves it. And we're going to raise some money by the end of the week. And whatever money we raise, 100% of it is going to get donated to a charity of my choosing. And don't worry, I will disclaim everything before I schedule this live stream. So, to all of you that I called out, not as a call out, let's make this a reality. Let's make this happen. Let's give something that hasn't been done before. Let's put on a show for the people. Let's put on a show for the world to watch. But most importantly, let's raise some money and put it to a good use.
Facts.
That's my goal for this summer. And if I can't make it happen, who cares? I'm still going to be here. I'm going to be live for 7 days. And whoever wants to come on, floor is open.
7 days of Technoid, yeah.
The 7 days of Technoid. So, with that being said, I am probably going to get some flashback on that, but I don't care. Big guys on YouTube, I'm tagging you on Twitter. Hit me up in the DMs. Let's make this happen. But anyway, guys, that is it for the nice live episode. Again, I will update you on the 7 days. I will announce the dates in the coming weeks once we find something to work with, because I will be going on vacation next week and also in August, so I want to do this when I have the time. Number 2, I also want to make sure that, you guys are going to be kept up to date. And also, I will announce the charity once the date has been finalized. I will announce everything. So anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this episode. I hope you enjoyed this short little episode of Technoid. Big YouTubers, don't eat me up too hard. Don't be like, who the F is that guy? Because, trust me, I'm not Conor
Who
McGregor.
the F is that guy?
Because, trust me, I'm telling you right now, if you clap back, I will clap even harder like Jimmy Buckets. I'm just telling you right now. Because I'm down bad, and I can talk when I'm down bad.
Oh, damn.
All joking aside, guys, thank you to Steve Tech for coming out. Thank
Thanks,
you,
man.
Steve, for being here.
Thank you
Guys,
for
have a
having
great night, everyone. I will see you very soon on the next live episode. And stay tuned because we're going to announce those dates very soon. Thank you all for watching, and